Only when tended to colors from the Bare Dynasty and Marquee Interior One Coat Hide Color Collection.
Koala Insulation.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. Fall is finally here, and hopefully so are milder temperatures. But don't wait to insulate your home. Take advantage of 20% savings off our summer rates and start saving on those utility bills now and all those hot summers to come.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
See dealer for complete details. Don't miss the largest pre-owned inventory sell down we've ever had at Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Bay Meadows. Our pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs must be sold, and no reasonable offer will be refused, including our great selection of certified Ram trucks and Jeeps. There's only one dealer with so much to choose from. It's here at I-295 and Bay Meadows. Now is the time to save thousands. Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, only at I-295 and Bay Meadows.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, Prime Men's Medical Center will get your sex life back in just one visit. Their painless, breakthrough medical treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Prime Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments will restore your sex life regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. Plus, you'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients will have their testosterone checked free. Call 904-900-4770, 904-900-4770. To regain your sex life in just one visit, call now. 904-900-4770.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. An AFC North matchup tonight to kick off Week 10 in the NFL. The Ravens hosting the Bengals. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky.
It's a much bigger game for the Bengals, right? Because they're behind the 8 ball when it comes to wins and losses. Yeah. It's also a big game for Baltimore defensively. Baltimore is unbelievably explosive offensively. It's hard for me to sit there and say that they're in that top 2 or 3 group when I've watched this defense this year.
Dan Orlovsky on Get Up. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports Ravens running back Keaton Mitchell should come off the PUP list for tonight's game. He hasn't played since a torn left ACL last December. Panthers running back Chuba Hubbard will sign a 4-year contract extension with the team. ESPN's David Newton reports the deal is worth $33 million. Florida Gators athletic director Scott Strickland says head coach Billy Napier will stay on the job next season. The Gators are 4-4 this year, 15-18 overall under Napier, who's now in his 3rd season in Gainesville.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming on Friday. I'll tell you why a good performance by Cooper Rush and a win by the Cowboys won't be a good look for Dak and his legacy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
You ready? Yeah. Turn off your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
I mean, I may not be ready, but I think everything else is. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Aaron Schachter Show. That's our thing, coming into these shows unprepared. It's like a trend. All the kids are doing it. Just look at the NFL quarterbacks. They all come into the league not ready for prime time.
Oh, okay, well, Jaden Daniels.
With the exception of Jaden Daniels.
C.J. Stroud last year.
C.J. Stroud last year.
I'm trying to think who was the guy before.
You're going to keep thinking.
That.
It's been a while. It's not often. Cam Newton?
I was going to say Ben Roethlisberger.
No. Just because you make the playoffs,
Aaron,
doesn't mean you're having a big rookie season.
Absolutely.
You can be a scrub and your team can make the playoffs, Brian.
Yeah, you could be. He wasn't. All right. I know it was 38 years ago, but I'm just saying he wasn't a scrub. And at the very least, he didn't lose it for him.
No, he certainly did not.
Which a lot of rookie QBs would, regardless of who's around them.
I do believe he was outfitted with an amazing team back then.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it was a good squad.
We're opening up this quasi-sports show in Jacksonville talking about 2004 Ben Roethlisberger for no reason whatsoever. Mm-hmm. But he goes 13-0 in his first 13 games, so Brian's all in. 66.4% completion. Not bad, even though it was only 196 completions. He threw for 2,621 yards. Marino did that in his first 9 games.
Okay.
9 games.
All right. See, this is why I don't deal with Aaron sometimes. He goes to the extreme. Dan Marino is the example, Aaron Schachter.
We're talking about Hall of Fame quarterbacks here.
Who's matching up with Dan Marino?
Dan Marino had an amazing rookie year.
We weren't talking about Hall of Fame QBs.
I was talking about
rookie QBs.
Amazing rookie years. By QBs. You brought up Roethlisberger.
Which is amazing.
And his amazing 17 touchdown, 11 interception rookie year.
Okay, this isn't the video game Madden 2K NFL we were in today. One more time. What was his rookie year? I think it was like 05 or 06. 04.
22-year-old Ben Roethlisberger comes to the league.
Running backs were getting paid. They were stars. They were respected.
And by the way,
is a different NFL.
He had a Hall of Famer in the backfield in Jerome Bettis.
Okay, so don't knock those stats even more.
I mean, it wasn't his stats, is what I'm saying.
Well, you said, I know you. No, okay. If you're a new listener, especially on X, okay. Let me tell you, the way that Aaron said those stats, it was like, nah. That's the kind of energy you were giving those stats, Aaron.
Yeah. What about Hines Ward and his 1,000 yards that year?
Okay, Hines Ward's the difference.
What about Plaxico Burress pre-gunshot? You know he was good. Pre-gunshot.
He had all the cartilage in the right places still, man.
All
the
kinds
muscle
of
fibers were still together.
All kinds of muscle fibers. All kinds of wind resistance happening in that leg. There's no through line.
He got shot in your hometown, didn't he? Didn't he get shot in your hometown?
Was it in New York at the club? I think it was.
Yeah. Dangerous up there, man.
And by the way, just because Plax was number 2 doesn't mean there wasn't a number 2B. Antoine Randall L was no slouch. That's another 600-700 yards that year.
You want to talk about somebody benefiting from having guys around him? Antoine Randall L.
He's a good receiver. How dare you?
Then Ben was a good QB.
He was. I didn't say he wasn't.
No, this whole argument is that, okay, it was fine. It was a good season, but we're talking about people who are just having these.
He had a very good rookie season, Ben Roethlisberger.
They won 13-0.
Yeah, they did. They won 13 games with Hines Ward, Plax Burress, and the most ridiculous defense you've ever seen coached by Bill Cowher. Like, I'm not.
I didn't fight back on this.
I'm not putting Ben on that list. And by the way, there's a conversation I actually wanted to get to later.
Oh, okay.
You forced me here.
What did I say?
You conversationally assaulted me right now.
What did I say though? I don't even remember.
Well, it went like this. I started talking about rookies.
And you said that
not ready for prime
prepared.
time. And you're like, what about Jaden Daniels? I was like, I tweeted about that this morning, an all-time rookie season. Then I listed Jaden Daniels. You said, who else? C.J. Stroud? I said, yeah.
Well,
and then you said, who else? And I said, maybe Cam Newton. He had an amazing rookie year. You're like, Ben Roethlisberger.
Let me cleanse the palate then.
Yuck.
Let me cleanse the palate.
Please.
Thursday Night Football right here on ESPN 690 starting at 7:30.
AFC North battle.
Yeah, man. Look at you.
Not with the Steelers, though.
Joseph Burrow.
Yeah. Gimpy Burrow.
Lamar, or as we would call one
Mr.
of my
MVP.
co-workers when I worked in high school, Lamer.
Lammer.
Oh, it was Lammer, was you?
I call him Lammer, yeah.
We'd call him Lamer. Yeah, anyway.
I don't think he's lame. I just like playing with words. That dude's an MVP.
And the Baltimore Ravens.
And all of Derrick Henry's stiff arm.
Hey, man, listen. It's going to be right here on ESPN 690. Coverage starts at 7:30. Kickoffs at like 8:18.
It's exciting.
Yeah, man.
If James Farrier was still around from 2004 on the Steelers, he'd be excited too.
You're going to tell me he was a big contributor to the 13-0 start?
Not as big as Troy Polamalu.
Okay.
Or Joey Porter.
Yeah, all right.
Or Deshae Townsend.
It's fine.
Or Kimo von Oelhoffen.
Why was Roethlisberger even starting? Who was injured? I wonder.
I'm going to go Neil O'Donnell before I take a peek. Let's see. Who was it? Neil O'Donnell was probably way before that. He was a Jet way before that. Quarterbacks. Ooh. You had Tommy Maddox start the year. The old Tommy Maddox gimmick.
Never heard of him.
Didn't work out for the Steelers. 4 games. He was 2-1, but Ben was, I guess, undeniable on the bench. 4 games, 329 yards. Not necessarily the stats you want to see from your starting quarterback. 4 games, 329 passing yards. Yeah, at that point, I'm looking at the first-round pick. I think Ben was a top 10 pick, wasn't he?
I don't know. I know he was out of Miami of Ohio.
Let's see. He was 11th. just right there.
They're like, nope.
Just right there. Well, still, if you drafted a quarterback 11th and your starter goes 4 games, 300-plus yards in the air, you're like, all right. Can the mascot throw a pass? Can we get some help here? I don't even know how we got here. This is amazing.
Well, you said.
I know how we got here. We just recapped it. I'm just saying, this is a wild conversation.
I can't wait to actually dig into it later on in the show.
To be honest with you. We can now skip the conversation.
No, absolutely not. If I know you, I know that you pulled some very good nuggets to make great arguments.
That I will not be able to get to because we spend too much time talking about some other nonsense.
Okay.
But we can get to the news of the day so far. And obviously, Trevor Lawrence is the headline today. Trevor Lawrence is absolutely the headline. But before we get to Trevor, we do have a little bit of breaking news. Having nothing to do with current Jaguars. But it does have to do with the Ravens, who will be on ESPN 690 tonight.
That's what I hear.
If you were expecting to hear a game that included Yannick Ngakoue, you can drop those expectations now.
Tease me with a good time.
Unfortunately, Yannick has been waived.
Dang!
Hardly knew ya.
Bro, right before the holidays, man.
Right before that dude's like, I'm going to Target. I'm going to Walmart. Phone rings. He's like, oh, on second thought.
Dang, the Ravens acting like a PepsiCo.
Now, the rich get richer for the Ravens. They just loaded up at the deadline.
Yeah.
Apparently, part of that loading up, part of that strategy had to do with letting go of Yannick Ngakoue.
That's so, man.
Now, a lot of people in the know are saying they're doing this to make spot for Keaton Mitchell. You remember Keaton Mitchell last year? He got injured in the Jags game. He was a really exciting young running back.
Okay.
I'm not sure with Derrick Henry eating up all of the carries back there. What you're going to do with Keaton Mitchell? Maybe he's going to ride on Derrick's shoulders. Maybe Derrick needs a little challenge.
Aaron, they lead the league in rushing, and I don't know what it is after week 9. I could pull it up real quick, but it was 200 yards a game going into week 9. It was 200 yards per game by the Baltimore Ravens going into week 9. Okay, listen, they're doing most things right. The team looks great, so if that's what they want to do, fine. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Rich get richer for the Ravens. Yannick Ngakoue, we hardly knew you. Last game in week 9, just because you asked, against the Denver Broncos, who, by the way, have a ridiculous defense. Held them to 127 yards.
That's like an A+ game.
Yards, right?
That's like an A+ game, guys.
That's literally their worst game of the year.
Yeah.
They got 267, 232, 182, 156, 345 against the Bengals. Oh, that's passing yards. Woo. Woo.
Yeah, I'm about to say, man, what kind of wing tee offense were they running that game? All right.
Like, what, did Coach Harbaugh run for 100 yards? Who else is out there running? Man, Yeah, 127, second worst game of the year. Again, Cleveland Browns had the worst game for the Ravens rushing. That was 124.
Look at that.
Still putting in work. And you'll be able to hear that work tonight on ESPN 690. That being said, Yannick Ngakoue out, and that is essentially the entirety of your non-Jaguars related Jaguars news. Thank you. Back to Trevor. So Trev's got this issue in his left shoulder. Lots of misinformation floating around. Lots of different stories happening. For instance, yesterday we saw Doug Peterson talking about Trevor saying, hey, look, we're going to have to see how the week progresses. Then today it trickles out. We're hearing it's likely a no. You got Mac Jones getting ready to go, taking first-team reps today. They brought in C.J. Beathard yesterday. Welcome back. I don't know. In a year, obviously, where the Jags would be competing, you got to imagine Trevor would play. Yeah. Take last year into account. I mean, the dude had 10 times the injuries he's got now to parts that he actually uses in the game. Feet, legs, knees, arms. And he still played through it. So the fact that he's not playing now is another one of these concessions to everybody just to go, look, guys, we all know what the deal here. We know what time it is. We are fully in the understanding that we are 186 days out of the Jaguars being on the clock.
There we go.
And so maybe Trev can take the week off.
Take 2.
I mean, you might want to take, but you might want to take 8. If you're Trev, because one of the reports that was all over Twitter today, I think it was Rappaport was the first place I saw it, was that surgery could be an option here.
Surgery?
So Jay Gruden, who was in the comment thread, shout out to Jay Gruden.
He's got nothing else to do. Okay.
He's busy on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
With the rest of us.
Not coaching, so yeah.
Jay Gruden's like, oh, man, surgery. I hope he'll be all right. Oh, no, he goes, my sources tell me surgery might be an option. Sir, I hope he's okay. I hope that's my sources are wrong, is what Jay Gruden said. And Rappaport's like, hey, time out, guy. There are short-term and long-term options. And it didn't sound like surgery was in the plans for the short-term mix. But then Pete Prisco.
Okay, all right.
Out on Twitter, he's like, why? Why not? What are you holding on for? Pete makes a good point. This team has put Trevor at this coaching staff, this front office has put Trevor at risk enough. Get the surgery. Take a couple of months. You got a brand new contract to enjoy.
Christian Kirk is gone.
Yeah, go hang with Christian Kirk in the Bahamas or something.
They're good friends.
Yes.
I hear the wives get along.
Look, his wife is pregnant. Go be a great dad to be.
Man, yeah. Did we time that out? The baby's coming in the next, month or 2.
Oh, it's a perfect time to get surgery, Trevor. You could be home rubbing your lady's feet. She gets a hankering for ice cream and pickles. You could run out to Publix and go get it.
Yeah.
Don't go to Winn-Dixie. We know the sources all work at Winn-Dixie.
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. Back to an ADHD one real quick.
Right.
Jay Gruden, I know that was fake, worry or fake, I hope my sources
From Jay Gruden?
Yeah. But
you don't think he's genuine?
But do you really want your sources to be wrong? Do you, you got to say something like that? I don't know. You don't really want your sources to be wrong, right? They would be your sources no more.
I guess technically that's a good point. It's not so much.
It's a formality. I said this because it sounds good.
Well, also,
he may mean it.
He's probably not hoping that Trevor needs surgery. He's probably hoping it's the least severe of the options.
Leave that last line off then. Nobody's hoping for that, usually. It's assumed normally. You don't have to put it in there. When you put it in there that you hope your sources are wrong, you're fake, you're phony.
All right. I often hope others' sources are wrong.
Well,
specifically
they are.
Here in town.
Especially when they make it up out of thin air.
Oh, yeah.
Those sources are rarely
Or especially
right.
when they report things like Byron Leftwich is going to be the next offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's like, man, I hope that's wrong.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
What about Ayuk in a Jaguars or a Steelers uniform?
Oh, man.
That was amazing time right there. Couldn't wait for those sources to be right.
I wanted those sources to be right.
You know what I mean?
We just knew it wasn't a real thing. We knew it was imaginary. That's fine. Same with the T. Higgins report, by the way.
Oh.
We knew.
How about what do you get right? Oh. That might be easier,
That's a really good question. Who are you asking, by the way?
Hey, man, there's multiple people.
Huh.
Yeah, maybe we make it a segment since there's so many people just in town
okay.
that we could use.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, we're having some issues on Twitter.
Oh, no.
It's been good and bad. Bittersweet.
It's been one day back.
Paying Elon money. Is what I'm saying. If I'm giving you money every month, Elon,
it got to work
I'm expecting some white glove customer service here. This dude should be showing up in a cyber truck to come type on my keyboard to help me figure something out.
Nonsense. What do you need? Yeah.
$8 a month. You get social media anywhere, buddy.
What's it saying on there? It's just like, cannot connect.
I'm not getting the video preview on this post. It doesn't look the way I want it to look.
Yeah.
And you know how I am. I like things the way I like them.
Well, you like things the right way. That's more than fine. That's expected. Huh.
Speaking of the right way.
Okay.
Did you see the comment that's making the rounds today about Doug Peterson talking about Sam Darnold's success? We actually had this cut on the show yesterday. We didn't spend too much time on it, though. He was talking about Sam Darnold, and they asked, what's been the key to the revival there?
Oh, yeah, because I thought it was funny. Yeah, I made a note that's funny, yeah.
It's true.
And I appreciated the fact that he doubled down and said, you all were thinking it.
Yeah.
You got it? Are you going to play it?
Yeah. This is Doug Peterson talking about why Sam Darnold has been so successful.
Justin Jefferson? Because you're thinking it.
They're thinking it because it's true. He's the best wide receiver ever. Sorry, Jerry. When it's all said and done, I mean, if Justin Jefferson were hit by a plane today, then this wouldn't be the case. But when it's all said and done,
what?
Justin Jefferson will be the best receiver to ever play the game.
Okay, well, you know what?
Ever.
Fine, man. Fine.
Ever.
Fine. I would be amazed. You think Jerry Rice, the numbers that he has right now is comical. Is that the right word? Comical.
Yeah, comical.
Comical.
Yeah.
In the 1980s, where they just got out of the leather helmets, where the forward pass just became a thing?
Because it's not necessarily a quarterback league in the 80s. But I'll tell you what it was for Jerry Rice. 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I'll tell you what it was for Jerry Rice.
Yeah, right.
The receiving option on the team. It wasn't like these teams where you got 3 guys and a great running back. Jerry was the offense.
Okay. To that point, number one, are they Hall of Fame QBs if they don't have Jerry Rice?
I don't believe Joe Montana is.
Okay. I think that Jerry proves it with not 1 but 2 quarterbacks. So I'm like, Jerry Rice is probably a Hall of Famer. You can't have a trash QB, but maybe not at the level of Joe Montana.
No, I'm with you. If your quarterback's not connecting with the wide receiver, I don't care who you are. You look like garbage.
And then also, if you're the receiving option, the defenses know that as well, so they're going to key on you. And he said, bump that anyway. If Jerry Rice was here in 2024, 200 receptions. If Randy Moss wanted to actually just be crazy out here, Randy Moss in 2024, prime Randy, second year Randy, in 2024, he better than Jetta's, absolutely. I dare somebody to call up and say differently.
You know, you kind of have me a little bit taking a second look when it comes to Randy Moss. Because I also think Randy Moss was better than Jerry Rice.
I'll hear that argument.
I'd forgotten all about Randy Moss.
Okay. Well, maybe he's not better than
It was the performance of the Tom Brady roast. Very forgettable. Very forgettable. I think it goes for me. It goes Randy Moss, eventual Jay Jettas, Jerry Rice. That's top 3. Okay. Modern day wide receiver. Don't hit me with the Len Dawson or whoever you want to come at me with from 1904. It's like, stop it. Modern day wide receivers.
What does T.O. get?
He's in like a top 15, top 20 conversation. Like he's an amazing wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting in my top 5, much less my top 3.
Wow. All right. Sure.
But Randy Moss was unstoppable for multiple years.
It was just the DBs knew, hey, listen, he's going to run past me. They start running, and Randy, he throws that hand up, and he's past them. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Like a puff of smoke. Gone. It was something to watch, man. You got to live during Michael Jordan and Randy Moss.
And LeBron, Raymond James Sr.
LeBron James. You're
Tom
living through
Brady.
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, Shohei.
What a time to be alive, Brian.
Shohei. Come on, Aaron. Say it with me now. National League.
Shohei. Wait a second. Time out.
Okay.
Because they threw the Mets out of the playoffs. I can't do this.
Well, you were cheering for him against the Yankees.
Okay. Shohei. When we come back, more on Doug Peterson. Michael Lombardi thinks it's time to go. Then we got Adam Schefter saying Brian Johnson may be waiting in the wings. We'll discuss on the Aaron Schachter Show.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy, unseasonably warm and humid today with a few brief showers and temperatures topping out in the mid-80s, dropping to near 70 tonight. And tomorrow, your Friday, partly cloudy and warm, a brief shower or two, and all the way up to 84. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jags.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. It's Beard's 44th anniversary sale with everything store-wide on sale up to 44% off.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine.
I'm Ellie Anajar.
And we're Anajar and Levine. Experience the Anajar and Levine difference by calling us with any of your legal needs. Call 1-800-747-FREE for a free consultation and take back control of your life.
Main office, Jacksonville.
A local preacher turns his eyes from God to unsuspecting families, accused of using his pulpit for profit.
Of a pastor to take your money? Yeah, it's hurtful.
Then wholly ghosting his own congregation. Action News Jack's Ben Becker uncovering his fake name and fake jobs to lure you in.
We later then found out that he was a sex offender.
The Praying Pastor, today at 5:45 on Action News Jax.
Elevate your live music experience with Daly's Place Blue. Live like a VIP with the best seats in the house. Premium parking, your own private entrance, VIP lounge access, guaranteed tickets to sold-out shows, and much more. Coming to Daly's Place in 2025, the legendary Rod Stewart February 25th, and Teddy Swims performing with Freak Freely May 10th. You'll never want to see a show any other way once you go blue. Learn more at dailysplace.com or call 904-633-2000. That's 904-633-2000.
Hi, I'm Mike Lester, the founder of Talon Wealth and the host of the Guarding Your Nest Egg radio show. Like you, I love this country, and I'm very thankful for those that protect us along with our freedoms. That's why for active military and active first responders, if you decide to work with us, Talon Wealth isn't going to charge you any advisor fees. We're happy to explain all the details, but most importantly, thank you for your service.
Visit guardingyournestegg.com to find out more.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Florida License D056341.
Bueller Aaron Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida, it's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? Oh, I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Why go big or go home when you can go epic and save at Arlington Toyota? Right now, you can lease a new 2024 Corolla LE for only $89 a month. A new 2025 Camry SE for only $129 a month. Need an SUV? Then lease a new 2024 RAV4 XLE for only $199 a month. Our friends at Arlington even have epic lease savings on trucks, too. Go epic and save big during the Epic Lease Savings event at Arlington Toyota. Shop arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/October for full details.
Be the life-saving bridge to support. Learn more about how to help local survivors of domestic violence find safety by calling the Hubbard House hotline or visiting hubbardhouse.org.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair?
What do you mean? Does it not look good?
It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret.
No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic.
Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous.
I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going?
I'm gonna pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com, Walgreens, Rite Aid, or CVS.
Connect with us on Facebook.
What do you mean by that?
Search for @ESPN 690 Jags and check out the latest sports news, live stream, or show clip.
Now we talking.
ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. 904-362-9901 is the phone number if you'd like to call in and join us right here live on the air. Shout out to ESPN 690. Thursday Night Football tonight, a little after the show. You got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Cincy Bengals. Last time I went out to Cincy, I did the hack tourist thing. I had some Skyline chili.
Never heard of them.
What?
I think you're looking for this.
What?
Never heard of it or him.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, Skyline Chili, man. They're famous. Famous chili spot.
Apparently not that famous.
Well, they're very famous, and now they're a franchise, so it's a little bit worse for the wear. It kind of goes downhill, right?
Yeah.
Still delicious, though. And maybe I was just in the moment. You know what I mean? I was in Cincy. I was feeling it on a Jags road trip. But, man, nothing better than chili on a cold day. My wife made some white chicken chili last week.
All right, Cheesecake Factory. I see her.
It was a little Spanish flavor. Some corn in there.
I didn't know she was Spanish.
Some cilantro. She's not Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Just a good cook. Loved it. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, man. Warmed
Not
you
nearly
up.
cold enough. Forget warms. It was 80 outside.
No. The chili warmed you up, though.
Yeah, but that's a winter food. It was delicious.
Okay.
I
Didn't
had
know if
2
you
bowls.
broke that down for her. Okay.
I had 2 bowls.
What kind of bean did she use?
I don't know the name of the bean. It's the tan bean.
Yeah.
Whatever bean that is. Is that pinto?
Could be.
It's not lima.
No. Lima has a distinct
It's not
texture.
jelly either.
Be an interesting combination.
Jelly beans in the chili?
That'd be something.
Mike Lombardi was on the Pat McAfee show talking specifically about Douglas Peterson. Here's what Lombardi had to say.
The owner said this is the most talented team that he's ever been a part of. And when an owner says that and you're 2-7, the head coach is in a lot of trouble, right? I mean, that because the owner was expecting to be 7-2, not 2-7.
I'm going to pause this right here because I think Lombardi's got this wrong. Lombardi is implying that Shad said this like last week. He kind of made it seem like Shad was talking to Doug on the phone when he said, listen to the way he says this.
When an owner says that and you're 2-7, the head coach is in a lot of trouble.
But the owner didn't say it when we were 2-7. The owner said it weeks before the season started.
You think that changes? You think
Not
the
that
owner
it
doesn't
changes.
believe anymore?
I think the implication, the meaning, the non-literal meaning of the statement changes depending on when it's said. When he said at the beginning of the season, the expect is the best roster we've ever had, it could mean a whole lot of things versus when you say it last week. If you say it last week after the Jags lose, you're absolutely shooting at your folks. You're looking at your coach and your GM and you're going, what did you do? What did you do? When you say it when Shad said it, you're basically saying, here are my expectations moving forward. Now, granted, both may end up getting you fired.
Okay.
But one feels way different than the other. Anyway, Lombardi continues.
Because the owner was expecting to be 7-2, not 2-7.
That's fair.
So when an owner comes out and thinks the team's really talented and you don't win, then that tells me he's blaming the coach. So, look, the owner's got bigger issues than what the season record is. The long-lasting effect of losing. Now you're moving into a new stadium in Jacksonville. You're going to have to sell a bunch of PSLs, tickets, all that.
Well, again, I'll pause this here to say this. Winning does help that a lot, but a new stadium is going to be popular. Maybe you don't sell all your PSLs if you're a losing franchise, but that thing's going to be sold out for a while in terms of tickets.
Yeah.
Everyone is going to want to go to the new stadium.
I might say the newness of it.
Yeah, just to see all the toys,
stuff.
all the cool stuff. Come on. Let's get real.
You better make sure you got a program that's winning. Winning puts people in the seats. We know that.
That's true.
And I think, unfortunately, they haven't won. To me, I almost went out of my chair last week. You got 1:42 to go in the game. You got 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line, and you're throwing a wheel route into the end zone that gets picked up. Everybody can blame Trevor Lawrence all you want. You couldn't give the ball back to Philly with 1:04. Even if you score a touchdown on that play, it's a bad call. Because now Philly's got more time to come back and beat you.
This is actually a point no one's made yet. Aside from as atrocious as the call was, as bad as the throw was, like everyone has got a villain in terms of who they blame on this. Even if it works, even if it goes 100% according to plan, based on the way the defense had played for the whole day, maybe not in the last couple of minutes, but you're still giving Philly the ball with way too much time left.
Jacksonville is not a team at this point in time that can milk the clock so that they leave their opponent with.
I think this is Lombardi's point. They're not capable, and it's not so much about the players.
No, okay, maybe in its entirety, but that clip sounds like he's just saying, even if you did score why did you try to score that early? That's how I was taking what he was saying just now.
He was actually said, why'd you call that play? Because even if it works, it doesn't work. Here.
Touched it on that play, it's a bad call. Because now Philly's got more time to come back and beat
that's
you.
What he's saying.
You needed to run the ball.
Because even if you score, it's a bad call.
But Jacksonville's not. They got to take the points when they can get them.
Oh, sure.
A minute and a half, 2 minutes. I don't have time to try to run a different play.
The choice isn't, do you want to score a touchdown here or try not to score a touchdown? The choice here is, do you call the wheel route or a running play?
No. The first part is. The second part, he says, because even if it works, you leave Philly with too much time, meaning the defense wouldn't be able to stop them.
Well,
that's
really,
how I'm taking it.
No. It's not how you should take it, because
that's how he said it.
He's talking about the coaching. He's not talking about the defense. He's saying the play call was bad because even if it works, it screws you. The play call was bad. And not just that call, but all the calls leading up to that call was Lombardi's point.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand. He's talking about the interception.
Yes.
Okay. If it worked instead of getting intercepted, what would have happened? I'm asking this because I don't want to be super slow
right now. Score a touchdown.
Okay.
You're up by 2.
Okay.
And Philly has more than enough time to get in field goal range.
And they have he's making it sound like the probability is that they will at least get in field goal range because the defense.
Because it's a good offense, not because of the defense. He didn't say anything about the defense, and quite frankly,
man, come on. Well, but you just said the way they were playing, except for the last 2 minutes.
That's what I said. I didn't make the statement, though.
My overall point is, you can stop at maybe you disagree with the play, but take the points when you can get them. I don't agree with the second half of the point.
He's not saying don't score.
Well, I don't know that, and we don't really know that
because literally using English.
Okay, Aaron.
He's not saying don't score.
Aaron, you're seeing it one way. I'm seeing it another way. He's not, unless you're going to play more of a clip and he clarifies himself.
It's literally 30 seconds to go.
Okay, let's hear it.
Call. Because now Philly's got more time to come back and beat you. You needed to run the ball there. Let the clock go a little bit. Let the clock go down. Try to put some pressure on Sirianni. Is he going to call timeout? Is he not? But when you're just so busy calling pass plays and ignoring it, it affects your team. And nobody's going to blame the situation on that. Well, it was an interception. No, it was that call should have happened. That's why when Jim Harbaugh's coaching a team, that call doesn't happen because he's managing the game. And I think that's really an issue. And I think that's going to be a problem down in Jacksonville.
Nothing to do with the defense.
All right, I'm not going to go back and forth with this because either way, Jacksonville is not going to be a good team. That's not what he is saying. As much as I'm interpreting, you're interpreting. Right now, He literally said, you need to run the ball more to run the clock down because your defense obviously can't stop Philly from getting in scoring position.
Well, he didn't say that. He said you need to run the ball because that's how you run the clock down.
Okay, why do you need to run the clock down, Aaron? Why do you need to run it down?
To not give anyone an opportunity. That has nothing to do with the defense. You don't want to give them the ball back.
All right, man. You good. We good, man.
Yeah, this is confusing to me.
I don't know why.
Well, mostly because Lombardi is using words and you're saying he's not saying them.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's not saying them. I'm asking you to get from point A to point B.
Yeah, I think the problem I think the problem here is that you think the only options here are score on that play or don't score on that play.
No, I told you what my point was. Jacksonville's not a good enough team to potentially, let's run the ball down. Let's take some other chances.
No, it's not other chances.
You are taking, if you're running the ball and not taking a chance at the end zone, you're taking a chance running. Maybe there's a fumble. You're trying to run some time off the ball, off the clock, so that Philly has less of a chance to move down the field. And anything can happen. Jacksonville's not a good enough team. If they think that this play is going to work so we can score and be up in a game with a little bit of time left in the fourth quarter, whether it's a minute and a half or 2 minutes or 20 seconds, you take the shot when you have a chance to take the shot.
I guess my problem with what you're saying is it doesn't compute to me that your argument is Jacksonville's not a good enough team to do this, so let's throw a wheel route to the third running back.
Now, did I say that?
Well, that's ultimately what you're advocating for.
Whoa, okay. Now I'm saying this is what he's advocating for, and you're telling me he's not saying that. He's using English words.
No.
You're doing that to me.
What you told me is that he's implying the defense can't stop them from getting into field goal position. And what I'm telling you is what he's saying, his point that he's making, has nothing to do with the Jaguars defense. It has everything to do with the coaching staff and their play calling and making Sirianni make mistakes and not giving the Eagles an opportunity to do anything, much less get to field goal position.
He ain't say all that either. I'm just telling you right now. Okay. I said less than I put more on what he said.
This is a trap because
this is fine.
Because I have this thing now where I now want to play this whole dang clip over again, but you're not going to trick me.
No.
You're not going to trick me into it. No.
Please, we got 2 minutes.
No. I want to play a different clip.
Okay.
So that you can tell me that this person's not saying what they're saying.
So extra.
Listen. The point of that clip that I played was that the conversation continues on Doug Peterson at this point, right? Not just Doug. Press Taylor, Doug Peterson, Ryan Nielsen, Trent Baalke, really the entire coaching staff and front office. The conversation here in town is, should they stay or should they go? Right? And then in comes Adam Schachter, because a lot of people here have been talking about Ben Johnson out in Detroit, their offensive coordinator, and their GM assistant. I don't know what his official title is, but Ken Dorsey used to be the GM for the Browns, goes over to the Lions to help out Brad Holmes. I conflated him and Ryan Poles. Brad Holmes out in Detroit. So now you got a guy who's been a GM in Dorsey. You got a guy who wants to be a head coach in Ben Johnson. As far as Jags fans are concerned, let's just bring him in. And why don't you grab Mark Brunell on the way out the door as well? That's all we've heard for weeks. Here's Schachter on if Brian Johnson, lead singer of AC/DC. If Ben Johnson decides to leave Detroit, what does that look like?
Ben Johnson's going to be very, very selective about the place that he chooses to go if he decides even to leave Detroit.
Good point.
All right, so 2 things there. Number one, Ben Johnson will be extremely selective, just like he was this last offseason. Did a couple of interviews, turned down a few others. Ultimately, he was like, I'm going back to Detroit. The second part of that statement was if he decides to leave Detroit, which we saw last year isn't as much a sure thing as maybe people thought it was. It's not a done deal that he wants to leave. He could stay again.
Good point.
He's going to be very careful. I don't know that he desires to leave that division, to head in the division, to go to a place that you're talking about the dysfunction that has existed within that organization. We'll see. That's up to him. But I believe he's going to be very selective in how he approaches how to do his business. Just because there are going to be, let's just say, 8 openings this year, and let's just say 8 teams have him on their wish list doesn't mean he's going to be interviewing with 8 teams.
Again, we saw that last year, too. Not everyone who wants a Ben Johnson is going to get a shot at a Ben Johnson.
Teams. Yeah. I think if Ben Johnson is interviewing with anybody this year, he's interviewing with the intent that he's going to take that job.
I'm not sure that that's different from last year either, but it brings me to this question, Brian. If Ben is going to be before I get to the question, are we good on this cut? Do we agree on what was said there?
Let's I would say play it again, but let's hear what you got. Let's hear your take again.
All right. So basically, Ben's going to be selective. And I'm curious if we all think Jacksonville is part of that selective few. And so I'd like to take a look at a few teams here who we think will be with a new head coach next year. And then let's give it the Ben Johnson litmus test. If you were Ben, is this a team worthy of interviewing with?
Tell you what. Let's take a quick break and come back with that.
Okay, Mr. Producer, I like this.
I'm just saying, let's give it some time to air out because I feel like this is going to be a good discussion as well.
Okie doke. 904-362-9901 on the Aaron Schachter Show. We're going to go through some of the teams that might be interested in a Ben Johnson next year. I'd like to hear your opinion, Brian, as well as your opinion, caller at 904-362-9901. Are these teams part of that selective few? Back on the Aaron Schachter Show in a couple of minutes.
Oh, boy. Well, you know the struggle is real, Jacksonville, when it comes to the Jags this season, but we're going to keep it going anyway. Hey, it's Brian Middleton. And listen, 1 loss doesn't stop the show, but 7, it gets closer to stopping the show. But the Before the Roar pregame show still going on this Sunday as the Jags are set to face off against the Vikings. Special time this Sunday because we have NFL coverage from Germany starting at 9:30, so we'll kick off at 8 a.m. I'll try to tell you why all is not lost, Duval. Tune into the Before the Roar pregame show starting at 8 a.m. right here on ESPN 690.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmitt Smith on behalf of Depend, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and 1 blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, Depend is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, Depend is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Hey, this is Bruce.
And I'm Carrie.
We're the owners of Koala Insulation. Fall is finally here, and hopefully so are milder temperatures. But don't wait to insulate your home. Take advantage of 20% savings off our summer rates and start saving on those utility bills now and all those hot summers to come.
Give us a call and set up your free evaluation at 679-6282 or find us online at koalainsulation.com.
If you want to know why Arlington, rent a Toyota. That's why. It's not just a rental, it's a Toyota. Need an 8-passenger Sienna van? Rent it. Curious about all the new 2025 Camry features? Rent it. How about a fuel-efficient RAV4? Arlington has 25 in stock and ready to rent. Rent a Toyota at Arlington has plenty of hybrids too. And Arlington's competitive rental rates make every mile amazing. Just go to arlingtontoyota.com and reserve your rental online today.
Meet Mike Lester.
Talent is not going to be the right choice for every single person out there, right? Because everybody is different. We do well when our clients do well. We're literally sitting on the same side of the table with them. We're in this together.
Yeah.
When you do well, I'll do well. Once we have that understanding, then we can come up with a plan that's designed to help you be successful in retirement.
Find out more at guardingyournestegg.com.
Advisory services through Talon Private Wealth and SEC Registered Investment Advisor. Florida license D056341.
Hey, you.
What's good, my boy?
Connect with us on Instagram. Search for @ESPN 690 Jags and check out the latest sports news. We're ESPN 690.
What?
We are ESPN 690.
As long as we tracking.
Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690, 904-362-9901 if you're trying to jump in. Talking about the Jaguars possibly moving on from their coaching staff. And if it's Ben Johnson, like the majority of Jags fans who want to see a change in the coaching staff, if it's Ben Johnson, like those folks want, according to Schachter, Ben Johnson will be very picky, very selective. Not just leaving for any old body. You got to imagine he's going to want a franchise that's not dysfunctional. He's going to want a quarterback he can mold, not some crusty old guy. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know. Why don't you break it down for me,
I
man?
will, because the first place we're going is the AFC East, and the first team that needs a head coach in the AFC East is my New York Jets. And while Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, that's a good start for any offensive-minded head coach. I'm sure Ben Johnson would love those tools.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also sure what he wouldn't want is 74-year-old Aaron Rodgers putting fluoride in the water.
Wow.
It's a little topical.
Yeah.
You know, Aaron Rodgers and that whole thing. So, no, I don't think he would choose to interview with the Jets amid their soon-to-be 14-year playoff drought? Likely no.
Because Aaron has one more year after this, right?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. All right, Dolphins probably don't need a coach. Bills probably won't need a coach. Patriots probably going to go with Mayo next year. That's the East. Over there in the West, not the Chiefs, not the Chargers, not the Broncos. The Raiders may be without a head coach.
Maybe.
But the Raiders are not set up to win. They do not have the quarterback figured out. That franchise is a dysfunctional franchise. And if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm staying very far away from that team. I'm treating that team like it's got herpes. Nowhere near that thing. AFC North. Tomlin's going to die a Steeler. Harbaugh's going to die a Raven. I don't think Taylor's leaving the Bengals. I think they're going to give him another shot. They dealt with injuries and roster issues. It's kind of like a soft rebuild for the Bengals.
Sure.
But talk about another franchise with their own issues. They're going to let T. Higgins walk for free.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's wild work by the Bengals right there. Now, the Browns might be a roster they can get with, except for the fact that I doubt Ben Johnson wants to mess with Deshaun Watson.
How long is Deshaun?
He's got another 17 years under contract.
Golly, man.
It's just never stopping.
He won't be back at the start of the year anyway. He may not. He may not. I mean,
even worse. Because who they got back there?
Well, maybe you draft
for
the
Ben
future.
Johnson, though. Like, he's looking at that. He's not looking at that thing. Forget it.
Okay.
In the South, the Texans seem pretty situated.
True.
I don't think the Colts are moving on from Shane Steichen
They
yet.
shouldn't.
And I don't think the Titans are moving on from Brian Callahan yet.
Just got there.
You got the Jaguars. It's up for debate, and we can have that debate here in a second. Over in the East and the NFC, not the Commanders, maybe the Eagles.
Which is,
That's a possibility now.
It's a true one,
Sirianni's on the hot seat. That team is loaded. Loaded.
How annoying do you have to be 6-2?
and get fired, you have to be hated.
He must
Everyone
be
has
terrible
to
in that
hate your
building.
guts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That dude must be getting spit at when he says hello to people.
Easily.
Forget it. Dallas, too, by the way. Dallas is also undergoing a rebuild.
Yeah.
But you could be almost positive McCarthy's out this year.
But that's negated because as long as Jerry Jones is there, I don't think he's going to get a coach of.
Tell that to Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson was a big-time coach who won a Super Bowl.
9 million years ago
It
when
was
that
a
was
long
the
time
game.
ago. It was a long time ago.
Aaron Rodgers wasn't born yet, and he's 74.
I do think Dallas with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, I mean, this is Micah Parsons. These are good foundational pieces for Ben Johnson. But you're right. Jerry Jones is like the hurdle there. What about the Giants? They don't have the quarterback figured out.
They sure don't.
But they're going into the draft with a high pick.
Okay.
Malik Neighbors, that's a piece you can lean on for another decade.
Absolutely.
Dexter Lawrence, maybe one of the best DTs in the game.
Absolutely.
There are pieces there. I don't think that Ben Johnson goes there, but there are pieces. Not the Cardinals, not the Rams, not the Niners, and the Seahawks just picked up McDonald this past offseason, so not the NFC West. Now, the North is interesting because not only is Johnson in the North, he's familiar with the teams in the North, and right down there at the bottom of that list are the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, and a whole other bunch of pieces.
Yeah, he's not safe by any means. You're right. Eberflus.
Ben Johnson staying in the North, going to the Bears would be very interesting and I think appealing to Ben. Big time city. He'd be hailed as a savior. He'd get to work with a generational quarterback who's got tools around him. They've got good pieces on defense, too. They got to rebuild that offensive line. That's really the only thing they got left to do. Already won like 4 games. I think that's a real possibility there.
Okay.
The only issue with the Bears is that it's been a bit of a dysfunctional franchise for 30, 40 years now.
But one of the names that you were mixing up in the last block, Ryan Poles, I think is stabilized that organization.
Seems like a good GM.
Yeah.
Over in the South, you got the Falcons, who just picked up Raheem Morris. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
The Bucs have Todd Bowles. As much as I don't love Todd Bowles as a head coach, the Bucs play well.
Yeah, hard.
And they played well under him. Now, you got Dave Canales over there at the Panthers. You can see them getting rid of Dave Canales, even though it's not his fault.
Don't matter. Go somewhere, anywhere, but here's your money. Get out.
I don't even think Ben Johnson interviewed with the Panthers last year.
Selective means Carolina.
I think they asked him, and I think they were willing to offer him, if I remember the story, I think they were willing to offer him ridiculous money.
David Tepper is even worse than Jerry Jones. At least Jerry Jones will get you wins.
At least Jerry Jones has been a football professional for decades. He got David Tepper, who's like a part-time hobbyist. Crazy. He came in. I'm trying to figure out.
Sorry.
That's all right. I'm trying to figure out what that offer was from Tepper to Ben Johnson last year, if there was one. Or what the rumor was. Wasn't the rumor like $15 million or something?
I'm trying to see right now.
$20 million bucks. It was a crazy amount of money. No way he was going to do that. And then finally, the Saints. What do you think about the Saints? Now, the Saints already fired their head coach, so you know there's an opening. Derek Carr isn't exactly Super Bowl worthy in terms of quarterback. And I actually think they might be able to shed him at the end of the year, if they wanted to. But I don't know that you want to. You got Spencer Rattler behind him, who did not show off well during Carr's timeout. And it's not like you got a huge quarterback class in front of you. So starting over at quarterback this offseason isn't exactly appetizing. So I'm going to go ahead for that reason, count the Saints out.
Okay.
So, Brian, by my count, that leaves 3 legitimate options.
Which are?
For Ben Johnson. 4 legitimate options.
Okay.
The Eagles, I'll even power rank them for you.
Yeah.
The Eagles, the Bears, staying with the Lions, and coming to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Something I didn't believe was a thing or possible. I'm starting to convince myself actually now might be a thing.
Now, you power ranked them, but which one You mean you power rank them in most likely to least likely?
If these opportunities are available, if Sirianni gets fired, if Eberflus gets fired, if Peterson gets fired, if those 3 teams are available for Ben Johnson, I think in order of what he would do, he would take the Philly job, he would take the Bears job, he would stay in Detroit before he would consider Jacksonville. And I'm not trying to shoot at my town.
No, you're not. It's just,
I'm not.
You think about it.
I just think there's too much work to be done in Jacksonville for Ben Johnson.
So on the one hand, yeah, I think I agree with those rankings. I don't know, the Bears one's a little weird. I don't know, but definitely with Philly. The only thing
what's the beef with the Bears option?
Well, it's the same thing that I would say with Philly is that, yeah, here in Jacksonville we had expectations even this season, but the expectation level at Philly, even when you win, is at a different level. It's Philly has Kansas City Chiefs expectations for whatever reason.
Because they went to the Super Bowl.
They went to a Super Bowl, fine. Okay.
Like recently with the same roster.
Yeah, and they still had the same expectation.
And then they gave the quarterback $255 million. If I were them, I'd have the expectation as well. They got A.J. Brown at wide receiver and then a Heisman winner on the other side. They got the best running back in football, save for Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy.
And the guy who we both deem probably really terrible in the building, 6-2 right now, been to the Super Bowl, and that's the guy they want to get rid of.
They really hate him.
In Jacksonville, yeah, we get our hopes up here, but the media is going to be your friend for the most part. They giggle. They giggle before these press conferences.
Look at you taking shots.
I'm not. I would giggle too if I was sitting in there. It's probably funny. Sometimes it is funny. Okay?
Okay.
The expectation level,
funny when who asks
near.
questions. Who are you laughing at?
No, I'm not laughing at the people asking questions.
I was pretty sure you were laughing at somebody.
I'm confused sometimes, but I don't laugh at them. It's a hard job, man. It's a hard job, man.
What? Shout out to Propane Man, always in the chat. Said people need to stop listening to those Publix sources.
Ooh.
He said you guys should get into Blue Sky if Twitter's giving you a beef.
Never heard of it.
Blue Sky, the Twitter alternative? Everybody's on it. Except for me. And then he points out he doesn't think the Jaguars are doing PSLs, to Lombardi's point, and he's not wrong, actually. The Jags have said they don't plan to pursue personal seat licenses. It's one of the biggest scams in sports. Sports venues. And shout out to Kilkenny. He says his family in Cincy sends him canned Skyline chili most years.
Nice.
He says horribly disgusting.
Okay, no. Okay.
You miserable man, you. Quick break for the Sports Center, which we are running late to get to. Back in a minute on ESPN 690.
Are you looking for ways to entertain your clients, reward employees, and impress potential new prospects with something memorable? Create a live VIP music experience like no other with Daly's Place Blue. Go to dailysplace.com or call 904-633-2000.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida, it's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? Oh, I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Every year in Florida, 200 children and teens die due to firearm-related injuries. Know the basics of firearm safety and talk to your children about the risks. Learn more at go.baptistjacks.com/gun safety.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. The Ravens are 8-0 in Thursday night home games. They'll host the Bengals tonight, and Baltimore is a 6.5-point favorite on ESPN Bet. In the first meeting, an overtime Ravens win, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow threw for a combined 740 yards and 9 touchdowns. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Ravens corner Tre'Davious White not expected to play tonight. 76ers guard Tyrese Maxey will likely miss 2 weeks with a sore right hamstring. That from ESPN's Shams Charania.
He will need to take his time. This is a soft tissue injury. The Sixers are going to take it very, very seriously. I've spoken to his agent, Rich Paul, at Clutch Sports, and they will make sure that he's going to be 100% when he comes back to the floor. This Sixers team, obviously, that's been battling injury. 1-6 so far this year.
Shams Charania on First Take. The Sixers play tomorrow night on the road against the Lakers. Texas Longhorns sophomore wideout Jonte Cook II no longer with the program. Coach Steve Sarkisian calling it a mutual decision.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming on Friday. I'll tell you why a good performance by Cooper Rush and a win by the Cowboys won't be a good look for Dak and his legacy. It's unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Studios, Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Have you seen your financial freedom wiped out by stock market volatility? It's Rich Jones. Consider investing in real estate funds from DLP Capital. Don Winter is CEO and founder.
DLP Capital has provided our investors with consistent double-digit returns by investing in cash-flowing residential real estate. For more than a decade, we have had zero losses, little volatility, and have shot above our return targets in all of our investment funds. Plus, we offer monthly distributions and tax shelter opportunities.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
That's the ease at which you get information. You want it, you get it. Like that. Ask your phone. Group chat. Smartphone. You're always connected and informed in real time. No waiting. So if you're diabetic and still using finger sticks to read your blood sugar, what are you waiting for? Knowing your blood sugar levels instantly is important for managing diabetes. Call US Med at 888-665-0696. To learn more about continuous glucose monitors, a real-time instant method to track your blood glucose, US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 1,000 private insurers. And the best part? Call 888-665-0696 and we'll give you a free insurance benefits check today. So call 888-665-0696 today. That's 888-665-0696. And manage your diabetes as easy as...
A local preacher turns his eyes from God to unsuspecting families, accused of using his pulpit for profit.
The pastor to take your money? Yeah, it's hurtful.
Then wholly ghosting his own congregation. Action News Jack's Ben Becker uncovering his fake name and fake jobs to lure you in.
We later then found out that he was a sex offender.
The Praying Pastor, today at 5:45 on Action News Jax.
Who is this guy? Aaron Shafting? What is it? Oh, Schachter? Schachter. Okay. Shack Attack. Schachter. He gets shacked. But I digress. Here we go.
You ready? Yeah. Turn off your radio.
The Aaron Schachter Show on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690, hanging out with you guys up till 5 p.m. You may not know because I neglected to mention it in the open, for the opening hour. But ladies and gentlemen, this is officially a Friday edition on a Thursday. Now, I know when I say that, Brian goes, what? We're not doing a show tomorrow? We are doing a show tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a Friday edition on a Friday. This is a Friday edition on a Thursday. Hold on, everyone. Let's stop the show. I think the Sports Freak has a message for us at the door during the live broadcast. Go ahead. What is it?
Oh, I was just going to say I'm on my way home, and entertain me.
Cool.
It'll be funny.
No, she took me seriously. That's cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
She's such a professional.
No worries, Michelle Thibodeau.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's cool.
Michelle
Love
Thibodeau,
it.
everybody.
Remember all that credit you were giving me a couple of minutes ago for being cooler than one of these other guys on the radio?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, not anymore. You can take it all back. You can take it all back.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
All right.
Oh, boy.
Cool. Now, she's not disruptive at all. Brian, let's go ahead and start the show all the way over it. Nope, don't do it. I'm kidding.
Man, no, hold on, man. It's still playing.
Oh, no.
It's still playing. Who is he? Who is this? This is Aaron Schachter show.
Na. Ta.
I'm like, what's this shimmy? It's this Mark Jackson shimmy. That's
Mark Jackson was the man now.
The shimmy.
I'm no Knicks fan, but Mark Jackson was that dude. Shout out to St. John's.
Is that where you went? St. John's?
Yeah.
Nice.
Sal Vulcano. Very funny comedian. He went there too.
Oh, you talked with him.
That's right.
As a matter of fact.
That's right.
Go to the Aaron Schachter Show podcast page.
Look at you. A little promo.
You know, you get a little bit of Sal Vulcano and Aaron Schachter going back and forth.
That's right.
Put some respect on my name.
Yes,
Why
sir.
don't you? I'll take it under consideration.
Oh, you're going to lead the people a lot more.
I was going to go acoustic, but if you need it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll take it into consideration.
Yeah. There were press conferences today without Doug.
Okay, well.
Sometimes it feels like Doug's the only one who does the press conferences. Oh, but before we get to that, before I forget, we've got Miserable Dan on the phone, 904-362-9901, because he's taking Stevie ones on Skyline Chili.
Oh, okay.
What's up, Dan? Welcome to the show. Did I not plunk him down? That's my fault.
Oh, that's me. No.
Nah, it's on me.
No, I got you.
Welcome to the show, Dan.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. I can't believe you don't like Skyline.
You know, in all the years, I'm originally from Ohio.
All right.
And,
My condolences.
yeah, I know, right? Luckily, we moved down here right before I turned 7. You know, but the
Which part of Ohio? Because there are some really cool parts, and then there's Cleveland.
well, actually, we're like dead center. We're just north of Columbus. We're in a little town that even people from Ohio don't even know. You know, it was called Cardington.
All right, so time out. When you would leave Cardington, and they'd be like, "Oh, where you're from?" You'd be like, "Just outside Columbus."
It was like an hour and a half or so.
Oh, that's not just outside.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. You know, if you look on the map, it's north of Columbus.
Okay.
You know, but it was out in the middle of nowhere. Our closest big town, you know, considering, was Mount Gilead, Ohio, which a lot of people from Ohio don't know, you know, that one. But we literally did one of the biggest days of Cardington's history when we lived there was when the red light got put in. We finally got a red light in town, and the Twisty Treat came to town. And
The what?
A free single-serve vanilla Twisty Treat, you know. And
I want to clown Twisty Treats, but I got to be honest, it sounds kind of delicious. I don't even know what it is.
yeah, it was just, you know, you remember. Okay, remember in the parking lot, you used to have like the photo mats and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. You drop off a roll of film. Brian, don't make that face like you don't know. You're like 40.
What's the photo mat? I don't
Well, you know how like you'll drive by a parking lot and you'll see an ATM in the middle of the parking lot without a bank sometimes?
Yeah.
They used to do that with photo developing.
So literally didn't know that. That's why I made the face.
Yeah, but you're lying.
Thank you, Aaron Schachter.
You're lying. It's fine. I understand. Brian likes to play like he's young because he looks like he's in his 20s.
No.
And he's got all his hair still.
Listen, I got
only a couple more years.
I'm sorry, Dan. Continue.
Dan.
For the same thing, you drive by, and out in the front of the parking lot, there'd be a little ice cream cone shaped, you know, building with the, you know, twisty vanilla ice cream on the top.
Did it have a mascot like Mr. Twisty Goo?
It was something. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
But anyhow, you know, that was the big occurrences. You know, that, and there's a documentary on the Hells Angels from where the state police had actually called the sheriff and let him know everybody in Ohio, leave them alone. They're coming back from a funeral up in Canada. They're going to be coming through in the middle of the night. Don't do anything. No, our sheriff decided we're going to deputize every able-bodied male.
Not in my town.
Literally, there was one town, one main road going through town.
The sheriff was trying to win the gubernatorial race on that day.
Yeah, it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. He has the cars going behind him across the road, and he stands in the middle of the road and stops them and got literally a haystack-size mound of drugs and paraphernalia and stuff off of them.
Well, now I know you're really from a small town. You're measuring things by haystacks.
Yeah. They took that behind the fire department, and behind the fire department was just fields, and it went out to farms and stuff like that. Our school was located like a block and a half away from there.
A little downwind action, Dan?
Oh, my God. That was the happiest, because we have recess up north.
Dan's a third grader playing ball in the yard, getting gacked up on coke fumes.
I was first grade, and it was just crazy, man.
Yeah,
all
I bet.
Bars were just so amazing, you know. But the whole town was stoned that day.
I bet.
Funny.
For real.
But that was a little town. But anyhow, all the time that I've been in Cincinnati visiting family and everything, I've never actually eaten at a Skyline because they would get us those cans, and the cans were just horrible. And so I never could bring myself to actually go to a real one and try it, fresh. But yeah. But y'all were talking about the Ben Roethlisberger. It was crazy that Jerome Bettis actually had a touchdown pass that year too. So they actually had 20 touchdown passes.
All right.
Roethlisberger only had 17.
Yeah, so Roethlisberger wasn't nothing, Brian. He had Jerome Bettis throw him touchdown pass.
Yeah, and Randall L.
And Antoine Randall L., who was known for the touchdown pass. I think he had like 4 of them.
But I gotta give it to Brian's Panthers. They are the assassins this year.
Why? Because they beat this. Oh, because they got Dennis Allen fired. Who else did they get fired?
Well, they've won 2 games, and both head coaches to both games have been fired now.
Who was the other coach that was fired?
Was it from the Raiders? Wasn't it?
No, Antonio Pierce has been there all year.
Whoever was the second one that they won.
Now, Bob Saleh got fired, but not after playing the Geechee Cats.
Okay, maybe it was, but still.
You're falling apart, Dan. Your story's filled with holes.
Hey. But they've won twice, and both those teams no longer have a head coach.
All right. Well, the Geechee Cats are assassins, man. I appreciate the call, Dan. Thank you.
On that last play of the last game y'all were talking about.
Yep.
I totally agree. It drives me nuts that the ball was snapped well before the whistle was blown. Johnson was already through the line when that whistle was blown, and bam, runs in for a touchdown. And then instead of, and I'm sitting there yelling at the screen, run the ball. And they ran the ball. But then red flag. They got to do a review.
Yeah.
So they end up coming back. And then what do? They throw the ball. And it's like, what are you doing? No. But yeah, I totally agree. But I see what Brian was saying though, because
despite seeing what Brian was saying, do you still think he's an idiot like I thought, or no? I guess so. Okay. It sounded like he agreed with me.
He didn't say no.
Right.
As far as the time running down and everything, I totally was thinking the same thing. Don't leave too much time on the clock. But Jacksonville is horrible at getting a first down. They are horrible at converting a third down. And so if you go ahead and you run it twice and you don't get it, now you're at, what was it, like the 12 or 17 or whatever it was? The Jags have not shown that they're very proficient at going ahead and converting that.
Not even close.
And so I totally agree with, if you can get the touchdown on the first play, go for it. That puts you up 1. And so if you go for the 2-point conversion, which they
hit twice, yeah,
over 50%, since Doug's been there.
Well, they hit it twice that day.
Yeah. Then now you're up 3. So they have to get a field goal to tie and send it to overtime, or try to get a touchdown, which they probably would have left the left side of the defense wide open, and they probably would have gotten a 98-yard or something.
Yeah, being a Jags fan is tough, man. I know.
Yeah, But I totally see both sides of the argument.
Okay.
I in normal cases run the clock down and then get in there. But with the Jaguars' history, with what they've had going, I totally see it the other way too.
All right. I appreciate the insight, Ted. Thank you.
All right. Have a good one, man.
So he said I was right. You were wrong. I think that's what he said. Oh, you want to punish me now? I see. Now I understand. Because I was right, and it's hard for you to sit there and be wrong, you've now got to call in the closer. You looked at the bullpen, and you're like, all right, I'm going to make sure Aaron doesn't want to do radio the rest of the month. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, King South Beach. Welcome back, Gary.
I'm the fireball. I'm the one who throws 100 plus, all right?
I'm Samana ready for 100 plus as well.
No, well, this is Trevor Lawrence, and I want to clear this report. It's not my shoulder. It's my head. I keep making dumb decisions with the football. The shoulder's fine.
Now I understand. Gary, this is the second straight call you've done character work. I'm pretty impressed.
Yeah, I can't do Trevor's voice as easy as I can, bulky.
There it is. I'm glad you brought it back. Cool.
But you guys are having this conversation. It doesn't matter what Jacksonville would have done because either way, there's no snake bit. It would have been the wrong decision, right?
A lot of people feel that way. I don't think you're alone in that, Gary.
I mean, they try to milk the clock, like the last caller says. Maybe they don't pick it up, and then they end up turning it over on downs and
or like
downs.
A couple of more penalties, and they just walk themselves out of an opportunity to score. All of that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable how Schott is loyal to a fault. He won't make a change. He'll keep a guy. How long did he keep Caldwell?
We can look that up for you, but I don't know that I agree with the statement that Shad Khan is loyal to a fault.
Really? Where is he not loyal?
Well, if we're just talking about Balky and Peterson, I think a change would have been made had they not made that playoff run.
Really?
But I think that bought people time, specifically Trent Balky.
Dave Caldwell.
But how much time did it buy him?
Brian, I'm sorry. You attempted to answer Gary's question, not realizing that Gary has no interest in anything you have to say.
Hey, South Beach.
I'm sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
2013 to 2020, Caldwell was here with the Jags.
Right.
You're talking about the defensive coordinator or the GM?
The GM.
No, I'm asking Brian.
I was talking about the GM.
Okay, good. All right. Yeah, look.
Actually, Caldwell was probably a pretty good defensive coordinator compared to this guy, isn't he?
Sure.
And they ran him out of town.
When it comes to GM Caldwell, you're talking about a time where Schott, I believe, was like only 2 years into the franchise.
Right.
So, I mean, to have the expectation that he's going to be aggressive in making moves in a sport that he's brand new in, I think is a little unrealistic. I think at this point, he's been in almost 15 years now. He kind of has a temperature for what he wants, what he's looking for in terms of football people, and I think what he needs in terms of resources to get that done, whether that be help from the outside or an advisory panel or what have you.
But my thing is, Aaron and Brad, the thing is, if you only fired Doug and you fired his coaching staff and Balky, what coach worth his salt is going to want to come in and work with Trent Balky? That's the thing. You either make a clean sweep or you don't make any sweep at all because, so a good coach, you're talking about Ben Johnson. He's going to come in. He's going to want his own staff. He's going to want his own GM, right?
Well, coaches don't get to pick their own GMs. Coaches don't get to pick them, but I do agree that whoever is the GM could affect whether a guy like Ben Johnson or whatever commodity wants to come in and work with the guy. Like, I'll go there with you, but it's not like Ben's coming here going, no, I get to pick the GM. That's not how that works.
Right, but it's just the thing that you make these partial house cleanings don't work. You either make a clean sweep or you do anything. Like, why was the defensive coordinator fired, but Preston Taylor wasn't? I don't understand. Was the offense that great last year in the second half, or did they not collapse?
But that's not a Shad Khan. That's not a Shad Khan or Trent Balky decision. That's a Doug Peterson decision on both Caldwell and Press Taylor.
No, but No, but Balky could have fired them, right?
No, it's
the GM?
It's Doug's staff, and he makes the decision on his staff. That's at least the precedent we've been told is set in Jacksonville.
Well, we don't know. For weeks, we didn't even know who was calling the plays. So,
I mean, technically, we still don't, outside of a comment we heard a couple of weeks ago.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, see you, Gary. All right, we made it through.
That's 2 in a row.
2 in a row what?
I know there was a spotty area, 1 or 2 spotty areas in that call, but for the most part, it's been 2 calls, Aaron, where you and Gary had not just civil conversation, productive conversation.
I don't think you remember the last call.
On opposite ends of the
the call before this was his Trent Baalke call.
Yeah, I remember that.
And okay.
That wasn't.
You thought that went well.
So maybe the one before is the one you think I'm
I
thinking
just think
of?
maybe you got a low bar for what goes well.
I've been here since the beginning, and I can tell you there's been progress.
Yeah. All right. Well, you do your thing over there. I was going to go to this Press Taylor press conference because there's a question there that I absolutely want to go to, but it looks like we're going to hit the break here in a second. Let's get one of these questions in before we go to break. Press Taylor being asked about if he needs to change any of his play calls because a guy like Cam Robinson was literally here days ago.
No, I mean, there's certain things that I think if you take a guy out, if they're not specific to this particular game plan.
Where's the microphone? And Yuli? What the heck is happening there?
Game plan ebbs and flows each week. So if you haven't been sitting in there since Wednesday when the game plan was installed, you know exactly what we're going to call in certain situations. I don't know that there's too much you're going to be able to provide. Now, there's maybe certain code words, things like that, but at the same time, that's the chess matchup goal. We're aware of that. We also go through our TV copies, things that are out there every single week. What are words that people would hear that mean certain things? And that's kind of your early on in a game. You know your certain tendencies. You know the things that are out there. You work to protect those. Work to protect our kills, our alerts, our code words that are out there.
This is weird to me because the tone of what he's saying reads as, no, I don't have to change any of these calls up. But the words that he's using all mean yes. Like, okay, you got to protect these calls and okay, but he was just here.
Literally just here.
Like, knowing your tendencies, he was like part of the plan.
He might have came back yesterday to pick some stuff up.
Including a playbook.
And all it takes is they thought something meant something and it was something else, and now nobody listens to that person anymore.
So then the answer is yes, not no.
That's what it does sound like now. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Like, he starts off, no, I don't got to change any of this, but then he's like, we do this, we do that to protect this and to mask that. Well, then, yeah, you're changing some stuff. Now, granted, you may change it week to week, but this is weird.
Now nobody listens to that person anymore. And that's kind of the same with coaches going from team to team, things like that. So we're aware of certain things, but we're also confident in the plan we put forward.
I will say this. If it didn't matter, you wouldn't see teams within their own division pick up guys who have just been released just to spend the week in the locker room. And Patriots used to do this all the time in the East. Teams do this. Now, granted, the Vikings didn't go get Cam Robinson because they had the Jaguars on the schedule. It's just a benefit. A benefit found, not a benefit sought. If I could say it that way. Brian, let's go to break.
Oh.
We'll come back. We'll hit the phones. We'll do more press conference.
My man.
It's the Aaron Schachter Show. 904-362-9901. If you want to jump in like King South Beach and Dan the Insurance Man and whoever else we have on hold, hang tight. It's going to be a couple of minutes. We'll be right back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly cloudy, unseasonably warm and humid today with a few brief showers and temperatures topping out in the mid-80s, dropping to near 70 tonight. And tomorrow, your Friday, partly cloudy and warm, a brief shower or two, and all the way up to 84. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish. Join me today beginning at 5 p.m. on CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jags.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. It's Beard's 44th anniversary sale with everything store-wide on sale up to 44% off.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Having trouble finding that luxury timepiece you've been dreaming about? You might be surprised to find it at Diamonds Direct. Diamonds Direct now invites you to our exclusive luxury watch collection, now stocked with some hard-to-find brand new and certified pre-owned Swiss timepieces. At Diamonds Direct, our buyers have been scouring the country finding the watches you can't get anywhere else, including a fabulous collection of new and pre-owned models in immaculate condition from Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, Richard Mille, and more. We've got Rolex Submariners, Datejust, Pepsis, Batmans, and other hard sought-after models. So if you're tired of waiting for years to get that luxury watch you've been wanting, stop waiting. Walk out with it today at Diamonds Direct. And if you have a fine Swiss watch you want to sell, our buyers are always willing to pay top dollar. Maybe it's time for a trade-in or trade-up. Come and see the all-new luxury watch collection at Diamonds Direct. Get showroom directions, hours, and learn more at DiamondsDirect.com. Official jeweler of the Jacksonville Jaguars and proud to call Jags home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion. A local preacher turns his eyes from God to unsuspecting families, accused of using his pulpit for profit.
Of a pastor to take your money, yeah, it's hurtful.
Then wholly ghosting his own congregation. Action News Jack's Ben Becker uncovering his fake name and fake jobs to lure you in.
We later then found out that he was a sex offender.
The Praying Pastor, today at 5:45 on Action News Jax.
If you're feeling undervalued where you bank or lost in the shuffle, it might be time for a change. Community First Credit Union makes changing easy and worth it. We've been helping the people in North Florida live their best lives for over 9 decades, and we're here to help you too. If you open a Community First checking account, we'll give you a $200 bonus, and you don't have to refer anyone to get it. Visit communityfirstfl.org for details. Member NCUA. Bonus requires deposits totaling $1,000 or more and 10 debit transactions within the first 90 days of account opening.
There's no time like now to open your heart and start your foster care journey. More foster homes are needed for our most vulnerable youth at St. Augustine and St. Johns County. We are a National Youth Advocate Program, and when safety concerns arise and youth need a temporary home, we're committed to providing loving, nurturing foster homes. Right now is the time to start your foster care license. We'll help you get started when you visit fostercareinfo.org or call 877-NYAP-CAN for more information.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Stream the best of British TV on BritBox. Watch captivating dramas and gripping mysteries, whether it's entire series of massive hits like Sherlock and Vera, new seasons of originals like The Responder, starring international Emmy winner Martin Freeman, or an extraordinary selection of beloved treasures featuring Idris Elba, Jodie Comer, Matthew McFadden, Benedict Cumberbatch, and more. Only on BritBox. Watch with a free trial at BritBox.com.
ESPN.com is your home for all things ESPN 690. Find shows, podcasts, Florida State Seminoles football, contests, and more at ESPN690.com. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back. Come on. It's the Aaron Schachter Show. 904-362-9901. Talking Jaguars. Talking Cam Robinson, Press Taylor. Press conference that happened today. Press Taylor says he doesn't need to change the play calls. He just needs to protect them a little bit. Okay. What about Brian Thomas Jr.? You barely got him the ball last week. You plan on getting him the ball a little more this week.
Yeah, certainly. And you know, that's something Philly did a good job at certain times and third downs and some of it 2 minute in the game. And that's something Vic Fangio's done forever. Cloud's your best receiver. The guy that provides the explosive element. So there was no surprise to that. You know, the end of the game, you saw a bracket over him late. There were a couple third downs early. There was a cloud to him. So as that happens, that doesn't mean we can't get the ball to him. You know, there were opportunities there, even within the game, to give him some targets in there that we think, you know, he's certainly an element that is very explosive for our offense, provides a lot of juice to us. So we need to get him opportunities to get touches.
This has been the great mystery of this week. What was the deal with the targets on Brian Thomas Jr.? Because if you listen to Press Taylor and if you listen to Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, they'll tell you Philly played him well. If you listen to Brian Thomas Jr. last week after the game, he was like, no. They did nothing different. I'm good to go. Has anyone followed up with Brian Thomas Jr.? Where's Brent on this? He was the one who was trying to reduce this man to tears. He was the one who was trying to depress him with the question. We need Brent to follow up. Just put a microphone in his face. BTJ, you hear what they're saying about you, man?
Basically calling you a liar.
Basically. Comment? 904-362-9901 is the phone number here at ESPN 690. Let's hit the phones with my man, Till This David.
What's happening, Aaron? How are you, man?
Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, I'm a little bit late. Y'all were talking about coaches earlier. So with the new stadium being renovated and the next few years, the team playing, not really sure where they're playing their home games, do you think that would weigh in anyone's decision-making on possibly taking a job here? Part two of that would be, when you want some, like, do they have to change all the front office, general manager, when they get rid of a coach this go around, are they going to have to go all the way through the front office and get some stability with this whole franchise and to lure a good coach in, I guess, for a lack of better terminology there?
All right, so two questions there. Your first question is, will the uncertainty about where these games will be played during the 2-year reno, will that factor in for a coach? And I'll tell you, it should, but it probably won't. Any coach who takes the job isn't taking it to work here 2 or 3 years. They're hoping to be the best coach in franchise history. Most of them have the ego where they're like, I will be the best coach in franchise history. Most of them have the confidence to where they will be the best coach in franchise history. So if you're a prospective coach, you're probably more closely looking at ownership and the stability there. And I feel like the owner is fairly stable. You're looking at the roster and how much work is ahead of you. And depending on what part of the roster you're looking at, you can either be really pleased with where it's at or feel like you got a lot of work ahead of you. Now, for the second part of your question, I don't think you have to clean the whole thing out just when you get a new coaching staff. Lots of teams keep their general management and their front office intact when they make a coaching administration changeover. Often, what'll happen is if the team is doing poorly, you'll clear both of them out for a fresh start. But occasionally you do have these great GMs who are just in the downtrend life cycle of a roster because of contracts and what have you. And so that's the situation there. But there are GMs who have had these jobs for years, way longer than their coaches. But to your point, you look at what the Chargers did this offseason, you look at what the Raiders did, you look at all these teams, and a lot of them went head coach and GM at the same time.
Yeah. So it just seems like with this particular GM, there's a lot of mixed feelings, I think, on the production and the
from the fan base
together, the talent
from the fan base.
Say that again?
From the fan base. For all we know, Shad loves this guy.
Yeah. Well, I think Shad Khan has proven to be a patient owner, and that goes with coaches and his GM. So.
Yeah. I would agree.
I don't know. It just seems like I didn't know if the uncertainty of where, because I don't think they've quite hammered out where they're going to play their quote-unquote home games for the next 2 seasons. But I just was, mulling that over in my head, wanted to get your perspective on it. So,
and I'm sure any head coach they interview, or if it's a GM, any GM they interview, I'm sure they'll loop them into what they feel the plan is going to be, whether it's been agreed to and not announced, or whether they're far along in negotiations, or wherever they are. I'm sure they have to probably be a little candid with those guys. If I'm a head coach candidate, GM candidate, it's one of the first questions I'm asking once we get past the job interview, and they go, "Do you have any questions for us?" I'm going to be like, "Yeah, where's home? What are we doing here?"
Well, I'll tell you, if they do make a coaching change and you got one coming in, and if he's going to have a gem of a place to play his home games here in a few years, because if the stadium turns out at all like the renderings of it, it's going to be
gorgeous,
pretty special. Yeah, so it'll be worth the wait and bearing the fruit of whatever they can produce. So, all right, appreciate it. Y'all have a good day, man.
See you, Dave. That was weird. A phone call from Till This David without talking college football.
To this day.
Did he make a mistake? Did he need to call back?
No, man. Hey,
we didn't talk about South Carolina at all.
He doesn't want to break up the,
Speaking of South Carolina, I saw another Xavier Legette quote.
Okay.
And this one was nearly impossible to understand.
But you did.
Well, only because I knew the context from the tweet caption. I got to stop reading captions. Anytime I see Xavier Legette's face now in a video, I just got to close my eyes and hit play.
Just cover up the bottom of the screen. Just be like, nope, not looking at these little words.
Because as I'm listening to the interview, the feedback on the interview, I'm like, nobody understands what this man is saying in this instance. This dude needs a talk show. I mean, we got all holes all over ESPN 690.
I'm sorry, excuse me?
What?
We got what?
Holes?
Oh. Boy.
To this day.
Boy, I thought you was getting a little too real out here. I was like, when I'm going to find out?
Just saying, we got all kinds of opportunity we're letting ESPN fill.
Of course.
Xavier Legette could have himself a 12-hour talk show.
I'm surprised the late-night host hasn't pulled him on yet. I know he isn't a big star yet, but hey, man, listen.
On a talk show like Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, no one knows who he is. No one knows who he is.
I blame the Panthers PR team.
Get Tepper on the phone. Get David Tepper on the phone.
Make sure he doesn't have a drink in his hand.
All right. I know we talked about Cam Robinson. We started to talk about Brian Thomas Jr. and what the game plan will be for him. Press Taylor apparently used every word he knew to discuss how he could try and get Brian Thomas the ball a little bit more this week. But a couple of good follow-ups here from the media. And this one was, is there a fine line when you're trying to get BTJ involved between force-feeding him and actually having a coherent game plan where you're using a dude with a skill set to get him enough touches?
Yeah, I think so. And we've always kind of been where we'll put together certain concepts are pure progression, certain concepts are two-man routes where there's certainly a primary.
He's doing that thing again that I don't like.
Football speak?
But unnecessarily. They didn't say, hey, man, draw up an imaginary play for us right now. They said, is there a fine line when you're trying to get BTJ involved? Is there a fine line between force-feeding him and game planning him? And instead, he wants to talk about the names of plays. It has nothing to do with the actual question.
In this case, it's a avoidance tactic?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Certainly a primary and then a check down option. And so there's kind of the mix and match of the perfect routine of that. Now, we're fortunate we have a lot of good skill players. So if BT...
Are any of them named Brian Thomas Jr.? Because that's who the question's about, Press Taylor.
Good skill players. So if BT is drawing coverage to a certain area, maybe we'll run the ball, maybe we have the opportunity to get backside, but at the same time, he needs to impact the game for us. And so...
Oh, okay. There's part of an answer. He's like, we got skill players, but at the same time, Brian Thomas Jr. needs to do his part too. That was interesting. I didn't hear that the first listen.
He needs to impact the game for us. And sometimes that's just, his presence impacts the game for us, but there's also, he needs the football. He needs opportunities to get the football as well. So there's always kind of that fine line, like you mentioned, of just how much is too much, how much is force feeding, how much is restricting the play of the offense.
How much would you say is too much for Brian Thomas? How many targets? Too much. 15 targets.
I was going to say 17.
With everybody hurt, 15 targets feels like a lot, but
When you start getting to 17, 18, 19, I'm like, all right, Britton Strange is somewhere out there. He's got to be open. They're double teaming.
not if you watched the game last week.
But yeah.
But 10 targets, 12 targets, this is fine. 12 targets would be fine with Christian Kirk on the field.
Absolutely. Aaron, force-feed it.
Forced.
I'm not saying it into triple coverage, but force, yeah.
Well, no, you don't want Trevor forcing the ball into coverage, but force Brian Thomas Jr. the ball.
And another thing, this is where the coaching comes in, right?
Tell him, Brian.
You say Minnesota runs a defense much like Philly, and for some reason they may double, but they'll put a lot more focus on BTJ. Well, draw stuff up. Scheme it up. That was a favorite word on the defense side. Scheme it up so that he get
we can't do that. You can draw plays to feature players.
Oh.
What?
Don't ask that question. You have a 5-minute response from press. Don't you ask him that question. Yeah.
Let's take a quick break because I want to get to this Ryan Nielsen press conference. They asked him a lot about Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, and boy, did the media realize they could follow up on a question in this one.
84 weeks into the season.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4 straight questions in a row where they're just hammering this dude. Not good enough. Give me more. Not good enough. Give me more. Love it. Feet to the fire, media. 904-362-9901 on the Aaron Schachter Show. Back in a few minutes.
Sundays on ESPN 690 means 12 at 12 on the NFL, even if it's a bit earlier this week. Starting at 9:30 a.m., we take our NFL coverage out to Germany, where the New York Giants and the Carolina Panthers face off in Munich in an NFC showdown. Then at 4 p.m., we head west, where Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets try to make it 2 straight wins when they face Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals. And finally, our Sunday night football matchup has Jared Goff and the high-powered Detroit Lions offense heading to the Lone Star State to take on C.J. Stroud and the AFC South Division leading Houston Texans. Coverage for the game starts at 8 p.m. It's Sunday. It's 12 hours of football. We are ESPN 690, your home for the NFL.
Hey, boss. You're late. Sit down. We gotta talk about some news I heard about Safe Touch Security today.
Look, boss, I stopped by the bakery and got some pumpkin donuts.
Donuts?
Boss, pumpkin is a fruit. Therefore, these are healthy.
Sounds logical to me. All right, so here's the latest. Safe Touch now has these video doorbells with advanced analytics, and they're offering them for free. Mr. Jackson hates me.
Boss, my Vipassana meditation coach told me to let go of that you cannot control.
What is in those donuts?
Seriously, it's kind of like don't sweat the small stuff.
It's not small. Safe Touch has a 2-way communicator, the guaranteed response, and now this.
Oh yeah, I guess more folks getting Safe Touch means less business for us.
Exactly. Now grab your donuts, Pumpkin Breath. We gotta go find some more houses without Safe Touch.
Coming, boss.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson with Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Right now, get a free video doorbell with advanced analytics. Call 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license EF 2000-2049.
Attention men and women. If you would like to get your hair back, then you need to listen to some of our clients. John in Orange Park.
IHRS showed me what was causing my hair loss and helped stop it.
Call IHRS now at 904-777-IHRS. Find out how to grow your hair back with a free hair and scalp examination. Mike from Bay Meadows.
I finally found the most experienced company who could restore my hair. Now I have hair where I had none before.
Results guaranteed. Diane from Ponte Vedra.
Now I have what lotions couldn't give me. Thick, beautiful hair.
Find out why you're losing your hair and how to grow your hair back. Call 904-777-IHRS for a limited time free hair and scalp examination.
Now my hair will grow for the rest of my life. Thanks, IHRS.
Thank you, IHRS.
Thanks, IHRS, for giving me my hair back.
Hurry and receive a free hair and scalp examination and get 2 weeks of laser treatments for free. Call IHRS at 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477. Hairforme.com.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.com ForeverVetsReturns.net.
Have you added a new puppy to your family? Forever Vets now has puppy socials every month to help your fur baby get used to the other puppies in a safe and secure environment. Parents stay for the social, and Forever Vets trained vet techs will be there to answer questions. Forever Vets will also provide a puppy goodie bag and pup cups for your fur baby, along with some great discounts on services. All puppies under 1 year old with appropriate up-to-date shots are welcome. You must sign up in advance, so visit forevervets.com to get more info on how to register. That's forevervets.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve.
Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. Main office, Jacksonville.
The First Coast American Heart Association wants you to learn how to spot stroke fast. If you see face drooping, arm weakness, or speech difficulties, it's time to call 911. Learn more at stroke.org. HCA Florida Healthcare is the local sponsor of Together to End Stroke.
Wendy's breakfast burrito has an entire breakfast in every bite. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, and sausage or bacon. So the first bite is like fresh cracked American cheese sauce. Bacon. And the second bite is like fresh cracked American cheese sauce. Bacon. You get the idea. And now, get yours with $1 any size soft drink. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Connect with us on Facebook.
What do you mean by that?
Search for @ESPN 690 Jags and check out the latest sports news, live stream, or show clip.
Now we talking.
ESPN 690, Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Aaron Schachter Show. ESPN 690 with you guys for a little bit longer. Final segment of the day. This Trayvon Walker rock, paper, scissors thing is really getting blown out of proportion.
I'm so glad you said that.
It's crazy big right now. For those who don't know, Trayvon Walker scored his first touchdown, obviously in the Eagles game of his career, by picking up a Saquon Barkley fumble. But based on an interview he was doing after the game, he implied he was only out there because he beat Josh Hines-Allen in a game of rock, paper, scissors on the sideline to determine which one of them would be going out there. Which brings us to a larger issue that's been a problem for the Jaguars this year, this defensive rotation that a lot of people are unhappy with. When Ryan Nielsen came in as the defensive coordinator, that was the big thing that he brought with him, this defensive line rotation. A lot of successful teams do. As a matter of fact, number 4 defense in the league belongs to the New York Jets. And they rotate their defensive line. Granted, they don't have Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker as their 2 best players coming out of the game all the time. Granted, their best defensive line guy, Quinnen Williams, is in the game the entire game. But rotation is happening. And so they asked Trayvon about ending up on the field. Here's his quote. "We didn't want to be off the field, both off the field at the same time," said Walker.
Man, thank goodness.
Jacksonville Jaguars defensive coordinator Ryan Nielsen said today in his press conference that Walker was supposed to be on the field. We'll have that comment here in a second. So apparently, people heard Walker say this and were like, these guys are doing rock, paper, scissors to determine the defensive rotation? This is madness. I think Ryan Nielsen's like, everybody just chill out. Everybody take a chill pill. That's not what's happening.
Well, maybe we should just keep Trayvon on the field all the time. He'll score more touchdowns, right?
Diffusing of the situation. Ryan Nielsen trying to throw a joke out there. I can respect that.
The rotation. It's the rotation. And, Eric was up and, the next guy up, Trayvon was going to go in there. And, and then Josh was the next guy. And so that's just how we rotate, and we've been rotating like that all season long, you know.
We know. It's part of the problem.
We've been rotating like that all season long, you know.
That was supposed to be Trayvon anyway?
Yeah, you know, yes. You know, Trayvon.
But in theory, if Josh had won the rock, paper, scissors, he would have run out.
I don't believe Trayvon would have let him run on the field. I think Trayvon would have stopped him from running on the field. And no, that, you know, they're in their rotation. That's what they're doing. You know, Eric's the next guy up, and then, you know, they go out on the field, and I'm happy Trayvon was on the field.
I'm not calling Ryan Nielsen a liar. I'm not. But I don't know that Trayvon Walker was joking. I'm not convinced he was.
I don't think he was.
And I don't think he's going to grab Josh Hines-Allen if Josh Hines-Allen runs out there. And quite frankly, if the fan base sees Josh Hines-Allen run out there instead of Trayvon Walker, I don't think they're upset about it.
Grab Eric Armstead and either move him inside or be like, you come stand here by me.
Grab Eric Armstead and throw him in the middle of that line. That's the only rotation that needed to happen on that play. So here you go, Ryan Nielsen, follow-up. Does it bother you that they're playing rock, paper, scissors on the sideline to see who's going in on a drive?
No, I think it was part of the game where, you know, sometimes you get into the game where you're battling.
And the only way to solve a battle is rock, paper, scissors.
I do it.
Either that or a knife fight. You can't knife fight in the middle of a football game.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, the guys are feeling good, and you want them to be. I felt our defense, we started away, and then we gave up a touchdown, and we battled, and you felt the energy on the sideline and things like that. And, you know, there's some things that, man, you want the guys up and upbeat, and you know, when we ran out there and that next drive,
man, what are you talking about, man?
Things like.
Sorry.
You've had it. You've had it with the long answer.
He had 6 different starts to a statement.
All right, well, he's still going.
And finally gets into this one. Go ahead.
My guy, you're yawning halfway through. You haven't even allowed this man to expand on his follow-up.
You can feel the energy and things like that. And so I think, you know, our guys have been doing a good job of communicating and hey, whatever the case that was. But when they went out there, they were ready to play. And you could see by the play and them in their stances and attacking and you know, Trayvon with the return, I mean, you know, and there's some other things on that return that was a phenomenal football play, Jarian, and his 2 blocks and guys turning and running.
No, cool. It's a great job of you giving credit to everybody. Does it bother you your players are determining their spot in the rotation by playing rock, paper, scissors, allegedly?
You know, and there's some other things on that return that was a phenomenal football play, Jarian, and his 2 blocks and guys turning and running. And so the most important thing is when we're out there, we're ready to go with high energy, suddenness. You know, our effort is at an all-time high. That's the most important thing. And when you turn on that play and you watch what happened, I mean, we were right there.
That is one thing I read about the New Orleans Saints, is that their defensive players' effort at rock, paper, scissors was at an all-time high. This was one of the things that attracted Jacksonville to Ryan Nielsen. Hey, follow-up, Coach Nielsen. Do you think it's a bad look to be doing rock, paper, scissors on the sideline of a professional football game to determine the defensive rotation?
No, we have a rotation, and we, as we have the entire year. You know, I've seen some things where we've been called hockey subs and things like that. You know,
he's talking about Prisco right there. That's a direct shot at Prisco. If I'm Pete Prisco, I'm like, look at Ryan Nielsen reading my articles.
Now let me think of what next to say.
You know, that's what we do is we have our rotation, the next guy up, and at that time, you know, the next guy was up, and away we go. You know, same thing with Miles Cole. You know, all those guys they're having a certain number of snaps we like them to get, and at the end of the day, they met those snaps. So the rotation is, and sometimes it changes.
It should literally be against the law that Josh Hines-Allen or Trayvon Walker or even Eric Armstead has to take a seat so Miles Cole can get some snaps. There's no offense to Miles Cole. I'm sure he's a great young player.
Some offense.
None.
You're going to take some offense if you're
You've
Miles
got
Cole.
legitimate all-pro level dudes. 2 all-pros and a number 1 draft pick. And it's like, hold on. Timeout. We got to get Miles Cole some snaps here. In crunch time.
Where are we playing Armstead, though? That's my question. I know you're saying all-pro. Where are we playing him?
They're kicking them all around.
No, I know what they're doing right now, but in this example, Miles Cole, if you're I don't know, Aaron. Let me just say this before you continue on.
No.
If anybody else besides Trayvon or Josh were in this story, maybe I can add BTJ in there. But anybody else, and that means including Trevor, rock, paper, scissors for anything that involves what happens on the field. This is a huge deal to me. The two guys who this season, I could hear this story and be like, yeah, it's probably a terrible look at 2-7. But, I mean, on the play, we saw what happened. It's going to be Trayvon. It's going to be Josh, especially after the games that they had.
I hear you. Capable guys, both of them.
But please, do this in the blue tent. Please don't do this on the sideline.
I think this is the point, right? It's like you're trying to convince the fan base and the team, for that matter, that your coaches know what they're doing. You're trying to give people hope and confidence and faith. And instead, we got rock, paper, scissors. Follow-up question, Coach Nielsen. So if Josh Hines-Allen had gone out on the field with all his All-Pro accolades and Pro Bowl accolades, you telling me you would have pulled him right off that play?
If it was Josh's turn to be up, then he would have been up.
Instead of Miles Cole.
He ain't answered the question.
It was not his turn, and he went out on the field. Would you pull him?
Was that Brent?
I couldn't tell. I was trying
Getting in on the follow-up party?
Yeah.
And he went out on the field. Would you pull him off?
Well, I don't think the other player who was supposed to be on the field would have let him go on the field.
All right, so Trayvon would have played Officer Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's what I was thinking. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Couple more before I know the time's running out. I'm so sorry, Brian.
That's fine.
It's just one thing I wish they would do. I want to hear Ryan Nielsen on this because I didn't hear his answer. Obviously, you're playing against Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver of all time, better than every wide receiver who's ever played the game outside of Randy Moss.
All right.
Will you shadow Jay Jettas with Tyson Campbell? Really, you're the corner who's doing some really good work on your team this year.
No, we're gonna be who we are. We're gonna play like we've been playing.
Oh, that's a no. Okay, that's done.
Jeez, man,
that's done. Taking that over this week on Jay Jettas, I'll tell you that much. Got to see what those numbers are tomorrow with Ducky Betts. Ducky Betts scheduled to be on the show tomorrow. Also, some more fun planned, although I forgot what it was. We were just discussing it in the break. What was it?
While we're thinking about that, Thursday Night Football, one more time, guys, 7:30 p.m. right here on ESPN 690, Bengals, Ravens.
Oh, now I remember. I got a fun story for Naya if he calls in from Cumberland Federal Penitentiary.
Yeah, boy.
Friday show is always fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow for it on ESPN 690. You guys have a great night.
A local preacher turns his eyes from God to unsuspecting families, accused of using his pulpit for profit.
Like a pastor to take your money? Yeah, it's hurtful.
Then wholly ghosting his own congregation. Action News Jack's Ben Becker uncovering his fake name and fake jobs to lure you in.
We later then found out that he was a sex offender.
The Praying Pastor, today at 5:45 on Action News Jax.
Bueller Air and Plumbing presents Are You Cool?
Our first contestant, a stay-at-home gymnast from Jacksonville, Florida, it's Gwendolyn Pierce.
Thank you, Monty. I don't know who installed my air conditioner, but it hasn't had a tune-up in over 3 years. Am I cool?
Let's ask our expert judging panel. Judges? I'm sorry, Gwendolyn. You're not cool. Johnny, tell her why.
That's right. To keep your air conditioner performing at its best, you need a skilled technician to check your pressures, voltages, and air filters in the fall and the spring. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, our club members get 2 free visits a year to make sure that you are cool.
Can you tell me if my haircut is sexy?
You're better off not asking.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The inflation fighter is back and saving you thousands at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Right now at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned, just $500 down and $288 a month gets you a pre-owned 2021 Toyota Corolla. Or you choose a pre-owned 2021 Camry, RAV4, or Tacoma, just $500 down and $388 a month. You also get no payments till January 2025. It's all at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, or online at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/save for details.
This is SportsCenter.